the sister get a mic check. Hey, y'all drop some fire emojis in the chat, man. We're gonna come back with this conversation. He got a good question up there. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into some more shit, man. Shout out to Brown Wolf, Trey Thomas, Brother Blue, Hiker, and shout out to I Am Net. We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Nigga could drop the link.
Yeah, I'm just watching this build back. What's going on, y'all? I'm just watching this build back, building up my channel. All the different, I'm gonna be, doing builds on all the different channels that I'm involved with, all the good lives that I do, because I just want to, collect them. So.
All right, we back.
We just did this build today. That's some good points.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. How y'all feeling out there? We got the brother I Am Net. He asking good questions in here, so let's get it in, man. Let's see what else.
Hey, can you hear me, AB?
Yeah, who's that? Who's that? Hiker?
Brown Wolf, Relito.
Oh, you real low bit, brother.
Oh, okay.
What
about now? What about now?
You're a lot better.
Okay, yeah, man. I was just listening to what the bro was asking, and I think what we're missing is the perspective change. You see what I'm saying? You got to come with a different perspective, trying to ask these questions or understand some of these things that are natural. You see what I'm saying? He asking for a code, but I guess he's coming from a perspective of man-made codes or indoctrinated codes. You know what I'm saying? Instead of natural code and natural law, that which happens naturally. So the stuff you're asking is almost like natural codes. Hey!
Yeah, cause you see what's so natural.
There's natural realities, bro.
Maybe I'm not
like procreate. Hold on, 1 second. Like procreating, that happens naturally. So you don't have to tell children how to do that when they come of age, and they're set up in a scenario where that, like animals, right? That I have animals. You don't teach them to mate. They do that when they're naturally ready to.
I'm not talking about. That's not.
Hold on, 1 second, because I'm replying to what you were saying or asking. I'm not saying what you're saying. I'm replying to the questions you were saying. Like, what's the code on having sex? That's what you were asking. So I'm telling you, the code is a natural code, bro. I breed animals. There's a natural law or a natural code. Natural law is if you don't drink water, you die. Hold on. Come on, bro. It's common sense. Natural law. 1 second, bro.
Man, come on, man.
Because if I'm making a point, I am though, because I'm replying to what you said. You asked what's the code. I said a natural one. You asked me for
that's big, though.
But he's literally trying to hint to how the life since the colonizer got here.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a perspective.
No, let me make myself clear so you can talk about what I'm saying. Let me make myself clear. I'm saying, like, I don't see, like, if I'm a part of a tribe, I don't see the benefit of men just running around having sex with women, and then there's no commitment, there's no obligation with that.
Where's that?
You know what I'm saying? So that's what. Well, hold on. I'm telling you where I'm coming from, though. So you can, so you won't have to come to where you just came.
I answered your question. You're telling me your ideology, like you don't think men should run around and have sex with anybody. That's common. What is that?
That ain't common sense because people don't.
You ask what do children? You ask what do children do about sex, bro? You didn't ask do men run around fucking anybody. You said what do children do about sex, or what's the code when we're talking about children having sex?
No, I was talking about for adults, man, for people, human beings. Hold on,
let's just hold on, y'all. Let's just go ahead and show them something in the encyclopedia dealing with some basic understanding of what would have went on. They asked them what would have went on. So Aztec parents provide education for their young people, warning them about dangers of parental sex. Aztec medicine experts give an example of the education in the book Aztec Medicines and Health. Right, so let's get into it. Typical instructions of a young man might receive were: do not throw yourself upon a woman like a dog which throws itself upon food. Be not like a dog when he is given food, or drink, giving yourself to the woman before times come. Even though you may long for a woman. Hold back your heart until you are grown men, strong and robust. Before you know, woman, you must grow into a complete man, and then you will be ready for marriage. So this is just some basic understanding of just some of the rules that would have been going on in America.
Okay, that's clear. That was a lot more clear. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm pretty much done with that then because that's pretty much.
Yeah, let's move on to the next question. I was trying to say that in a nutshell, but it would have varied from different civilizations.
I've got a question. I've got a question, and it's serious as well because I put a comment on Sister Bethy and I got some hate. Because basically I put, so you've got women with women in your Aboriginal community. That's kind of Greek and backwards. I see it will get views though, especially in this system that we live. And then some basically put, I mean, some tribes actually hold their gay people sacred as a double spirit, but go off somewhere else. Your judgment is what's sick, and then that sleep is like love-hearted it, that little sleepy, and then Sister Bethy's put, yeah, F them. She's my baby girl. That's how it is. And then I'm thinking, so what then? You're endorsing the LGBTQ then? Like, is this what they're going to try and bring in now? You know what I'm saying? Because we heard them saying that Bethy's got a sister who's married to a woman, and that little sleeper is a little freaky as well. Yeah. So it's like, is this what they're trying to bring? That was my question. Are they trying to bring a gay agenda within our community now?
Who is they? What do you mean they trying to bring?
People like Sister Bethy, people like Dane who are endorsing this type of fuckery. You get me? I don't believe man and woman and woman. I don't believe in none of them type of fuckery things. And they have come out basically on their stream saying they're cool with the fact that, yeah, my sister's with a woman. But you're big. You're supposed to be big in the game, Sister Bethy. But you're cool saying to a few thousand or whatever people that your sister's with a woman, and then you've got
that's the thing, bro. That's the thing.
With a woman as well who's gay. Sorry, go on.
That's the thing. So how I see it, I don't look at none of these niggas like big in the game or honor or like trying to offer this internet shit, bro. So what I'm saying is, you seeing people's true colors. Y'all gotta realize none of these people are acting in a natural sense, bro. Everybody acting out of like from being ex-slaves and ex-Africans. None of y'all have. Look, so
one of the main points, isn't it?
Yeah, and these people are damn near on the verge of being gay because they don't have no manly, natural reality no more. So you seeing people's sickness while trying to become into their right state of mind. That means all this respecting niggas just because of their name, that's out the window. You don't know these people. Dane Calloway could damn near be gay, bro. He probably is gay. He don't have the testosterone levels that I see to act as a natural man based off what he's talking about. You ain't doing no fight. You ain't doing none of this shit finna happen with these niggas being.
You seen how that dude was looking in that video just a second ago?
Bro, what? That nigga ain't about. Bro, he in a loop, bro. These niggas in a loop, and it's not. They're not gonna send to no proper standing in this type of information that we talking about. This shit is not for paperwork. So what I was trying to get the bro to understand or understand, at least, is that this stuff predates paperwork, bro. It predates man-made law. You can't. That's not a correct perspective to even understand what we talking about. We talking about natural things that we have to get back to, which takes a lot of work in undoing this unnatural. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so hold on, Brown. Now, this is what I'm saying. I don't disregard oral tradition or written tradition. As long as it's on point, it doesn't really matter how it comes to me.
Yeah.
So, but like, I'm not into just sleeping around with women and then not having no serious commitment. That to me, that's just not that's unright.
Yeah, but that's personal.
And it destroys. Hold on, and it destroys the nation. To me, in my opinion.
Yeah, you came on. You got any more questions though? I feel like I answered that one pretty thorough though.
Yeah, and that's respect, bro. Respect. But you got to realize that's your personal vendetta, bro. That's on you. You can't come in here and tell everybody, I don't think that men should do. That's not what we talking about. We don't. A lot of us.
What type of nation are you gonna have if you don't have type of standards like that?
What I'm saying is, a lot of us do have those standards, but we're not talking about our personal standards right now.
That's not personal. That would be.
You just said I don't feel. You said you
benefits.
Hey, 1 second. You said you don't feel like men should do this, so I honestly don't either. But I'm not talking. That's a perspective that you're trying to use to talk about natural law. Like that's what I'm saying is yes, men shouldn't just sleep with anybody and stuff like that. But
what's the rebuttal for them, man?
The code is a natural code, so you can't go telling people what you think they should do. That's the
natural code. Then there's nothing wrong with talking about it. What are you talking about? If it's natural, then you should be able to talk about it.
Sure, we're talking about it right now. I'm just saying.
So let's move on. Hold on, bro. Yeah, let's move on. So if you got any more questions, if not, we can let everybody else get in.
Oh no, you answer my question. You answer my question. Appreciate it. Peace.
Yeah, peace to you, bro.
Yeah, this is Judge Joe Brown.
I appreciate your questions. Last time you came on asking questions, a lot of people take them offensive, but I just take it as an opportunity to teach.
Judge Joe Brown, we all be new.
The link is in the chat, by the way, you guys. Hit the link.
You a bunch of ignoramus. That's the last time I stepped in the woods just coming around there with my
He said, dang, Calloway, you mean to tell me, fool, that you ain't tell everybody that Africans came over here 250,000 years ago? He said, fuck you, fool. He said, did your mama, he said, I think somebody probed you, or maybe did your mama get probed? I'm on the floor. She that nigga wild.
You don't know, see, I was a gangster back before I even started the mulatto play.
Hey, Danny,
I'll fuck you up, dang Calloway.
He'll put hands and feet on him.
Martial arts, you son of a fool.
They better put hands and feet on him.
Wait, I want to mention this. Y'all notice how she kept speaking up for the young men and the boys, and never said nothing about the women being, because I'm pretty sure she had women in her tribe. Is it really true that you don't care for women because it'll take that, people be looking other ways if they have a strong voice. And she didn't like me because I had a strong voice. So, and there's other women that stand up too, who didn't like me. But you notice she only particularly said when she was talking to him was about the boys and the men. She loved her babies. She loved her boys. And she needs them to know where they're from. And what about the women? Don't they need to know where they're from? Because they definitely need to know that they're from here. They definitely need to know how important it is because the lineage goes through her.
Somebody asked me in the chat, Big Aboriginal Power, why don't you debate each one, teach one? Nigga, because I don't even know who the fuck that is. That's the first reason why. Fuck. I don't even know what that is, dude. Get out of here. Hey, we got Chief Wahoo on the panel. What's up, man?
Yo, peace. Can y'all hear me good?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. What's good, G?
What's up, bro?
Yeah, it's been a minute. Last time I kind of checked in with y'all was back when Ty Data was doing everything last year.
Yeah, I remember who you was.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just wanted to chime in real quick, just share my 2 cents, and I'm gonna cut out. But peace to the sister, Copper also. But yeah, real quick, he tried to make like the Masonic talk all spooky and whatnot, right? Just from my experience alone, you can talk to any fucking Mason out here, and if you ask them where they at, they're not shy about telling you their degree or whatever. Now, they won't tell you how to get involved unless you ask that you want to join. You know what I'm saying? So that's just in my own walk. You know what I mean? So he's trying to make the elder look like something other than or whatever. And instead of just, you know what I'm saying, teaching the elder about something that we all are now discovering and unfolding and peeling back the layers that a lot of our eldership don't have.
You can't teach them that information to walk the elder.
That too.
And plus, it seems like the Messiah.
Moving.
I ain't never seen you act like it. You bitch, you old fucker. I'll beat your ass. I'm gonna pull up on. I ain't never seen nothing like that out of that man. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, this just watching this, it just further, put me in the mindset of not even sharing with, any of my family and friends about anything, I'm gonna just tell them, go look for the information instead of just going to like certain individuals. Cause this shit keep happening. Like we know about the polite situation. Now we hearing this shit. It's like motherfuckers are just exposing themselves, but people genuinely come to these platforms not knowing anything, but they want the information and they look to these people for this information and it's speaking to these people's, mind, body, and soul. So they like gravitate into them weekly or daily or whatever, whenever they come online. And then here we go, a year, 2 years, 3, whatever, 10 years down the line, you hear some fuck shit like this going on. And you're like, damn, I just want the fucking information, but you'd rather go do silly teenage boy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was kidding
like, man,
shit. That's what I'm saying.
Fucking grants for niggas doing shit like that.
Listen, certain information in certain incidents, when it's tested, it'll separate the boys from men. You feel what I'm saying?
That way.
When it comes to this information, when it comes to leadership.
But you notice
when it comes to collectively trying to bring your people in together, you feel me? We got Kimbo Twice in this motherfucker, man. What's up, Kimbo Twice?
Hey, what's up, man? I was listening to y'all and I had a quick question.
Talk to us. Well, who you got a question for particularly?
I mean, it seemed like y'all pretty knowledgeable about this. About as far as, people getting their paperwork together and all that to prove who they are, or is it a reason to... Huh?
That's your genealogy.
Well, I mean, my peoples come from Mississippi. It's a town called Mount Bayou. It was considered the first all-black city that side of the Mississippi. Is in the deltas. You know what I'm saying? My grandma...
Indigenous black, right?
Considered an Indian back then. They all come from plantations. My great-grandma was on a plantation owned by a black man, Mount Bayou, named Isaacs. And, they had plantations that was owned by black people back then, too,
Yeah, let me ask you this.
We was the first one because it was our land. So plantation only is a place to work. And a lot of times when we was on a plantation, because that was our family, they owned that land, and we was there working. That's all it means. A lot of people work in plants now. Those are plantations.
Oh, I know that history. My people, my uncle, he was telling me that they was only making like $3 a week or day. I'm sorry, $3 a day. And what they would do to get away from that plantation, they had to sneak out at night as a family to go to another one that paid more. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like they was actual slaves, but the dude that ran the plantation didn't want them to leave because he needed them to make money for him. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't paying them shit.
Yeah, they was under contract and shit.
Right.
Yeah. Just like any other company. But yeah, man. So what's your question again? So we can make sure we answer this.
What y'all talking about natural law? I heard brother, what's that? Brown Wolf. He had so it ain't no reason to even go to no legal system in order to try to obtain paperwork to prove to people who you are, right?
That way.
No, you absolutely right.
That's my
why I
take.
tell people all the time that you don't have to use any paperwork of the ordinance, right? Or you can. Now that's what gives you an option. Most people don't even have the option to, because you got to understand the organic understanding, and natural law was kind of formatted for foreigners on paper. We wrote the Constitution. We created this law. We created the system. So we have the option to do that or to not, which is ultimately become a citizen or not. You see what I'm saying? To remain a king or not. To give them jurisdiction or not. You feel what I'm saying? This is pretty much what we're dealing with.
Right. Okay. That's what I wanted to know. And as far as my genealogy goes, I've been asking a bunch of questions about it because I've been hanging around, in the background of this community for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't been, commenting because I drive and I don't be having time,
comment. I appreciate you tapping in. I know a lot of brothers and sisters listening that don't type in the chat, so shout out to y'all as well.
Yeah, I mean, I type when I can. Like if I got something on my mind, I'll try to pull over real quick and throw something in. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot that I've been, realizing within the last few years, and then I hear other brothers talking about you need your paperwork, and then other people saying you don't need paperwork. I'm like,
well, listen. The best way to do it is to go ahead and do it both ways, so you have an option. So you can't say that you ain't do it. But listen, the thing is, these are solution plans. These are exit routes. So in a building, you can take whatever exit you want. Now, some will take the exit that's closer to them. So whatever one's best suited for you, that's closer in your reach to reaching, and that's your best one to try to go with.
they feel like, I guess, if you do paperwork and do it through their system, then you might inherit something. You know what I'm saying?
Right. When we say we need to change your identity because you're in their records as black and.
Well, no matter whether you're doing the paperwork or not, you're still doing the paperwork. When you go get your electric bill, when you go fill out for this, when you fill out for that, that's the paperwork, right? But you identify under their classifications, black, Negro, color. You need to start writing in who you truly are, because it starts with you self-identifying who you are, and they will acknowledge you for who you acknowledge yourself as.
Right.
And real quick, it takes something as simple as like a self-declaration. You can do it even on social media. Start there and let your media circle and your family and people connected to you, let them know who you are through these platforms. It can start there, because then once all of them start to recognize and realize, you ain't got to do all this talking and trying to convince niggas. They're going to start following you and start seeing what you're doing. At least that's what happened for me. That's how I experienced it.
And let me say,
changed my name, everybody started asking me questions. They started coming to me.
Yeah, and let me add this to that too. Think about, and I want you to realize how fragile the system is, bro. That system fragile and made up. So just like the transgender, right? Are transgender having to file paperwork to get identified as a transgender? No, bro. This system fragile. So as soon as you become who you are, you don't ask them to accept you for who you are. You're being that person, and then you start to, like AP said, document yourself as that person. But
just like with sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like Joe Brown, he was saying that no, we start calling each other black as a community. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all heard him say that.
That's different. It's not.
You know what I'm saying? But he was like, we was colored before then, but I mean, them was all just terms thrown at us, and it seemed like we just picked them up and just kept them.
We have allowed other people to tell us who we are.
Everything that we use, whether now or historically, was terms that was potentially threw on us. What we have failed to do as a collective is organically come up with a set of words or a word to describe us with our own meaning and definition behind it. I think that has more power to pass that down to the generations to come, when it's something we put together with our own definition and with our own power behind the meaning, instead of having a word thrown on us by a foreigner. Potentially all the words we know, the man that we have called ourselves in the Americas, quote unquote, was put on us by someone else.
And now that you mention that, I think as a service to, like, say, the next generation, that's something that we should be focused on, as since we understanding who we are. You know what I'm saying? Because the generation prior to us didn't quite understand or have, the tools that we got to, to investigate all this fuckery. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I think that's something that we can easily do. You know what I mean? We all got our own titles that we like to hold on to. I think we can collectively take these potential these particular strategies and throw them away.
Right, because you see how quick, like, the LGBTQ, they starting to pass that.
Like I said,
they got a flag and everything. Where's our flag at?
We got a black flag now for the black the African Americans.
Also, we gotta be.
This is how they're confusing our people, because you're literally telling people that's a brown complexion, a golden copper complexion, that they are black.
Right, and they accept it. You know what I'm saying?
They accept it.
It's That's how easy it is to change your who you are. You know what I'm saying? So we can make that same change and put it back into who we actually are.
So what would we do so my kids, when they grow up to be grown, or when they in their future years, they can be considered something different other than, how can we implement that into this system now? You know what I'm saying? And spread the word and be like, this is what we own.
The more we bring into the truth, everybody waving that we all know who we are, and you're not going to call us nothing but what we call ourselves. Nobody else is going to give us or tell us what nationality we are. Nobody. There's no such thing as race. There's ethnicity. And there's nationality. All the rest of that shit they can keep for themselves.
Right.
That way.
Right. And what we mentioned earlier when we said, you call yourself who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't tell you who you are. So if you call yourself what you are and you tell me, I got to accept that. So if you're going to walk that and you're going to live that, when you're raising your children, that's a no-brainer because that's all they're going to know. They're not going to grow up having to try to figure out like we all been trying to do for however long we've been doing it. You know what I mean? But your children, if you're starting now, they got it.
And let me say this, and I'm 20. I don't know how old everybody is, but I get considered to be the youth. I'm 28, but I'm like right in between the youth and the elders. So what I want people to realize is that kids gonna copy what you do. They don't give a fuck about what you're talking about. They gonna come on, bro. They gonna see what you're doing, then they gonna be that. So what you're being is the key. You gotta be the person, and then your children gonna become that. We worried about what we calling ourselves. Meanwhile, we're being ex-Africans and ex-slaves. So you gotta become that person, and then there's nothing to talk about. Your children gonna follow that. Right. Literally, you eat this, you gonna eat that.
By the system teaching our children that they were slaves that came over here on the bottom of a boat. They are literally, they're not giving these children much to hold on to. This is the way they want it, because if you manifest that you've been in slavery for 500 years, that is you're breaking it into reality, because that didn't happen. The more you say it, the more you are manifesting this. So we're gonna have to start teaching our children who they are. We're gonna have to, Chief Sunday and them just had the Harvest Fest. I took my niece, she didn't go to school, I brought her with me, because I wanted her to see our culture. I wanted her to know exactly who she is, because for 8 hours of a day, Monday through Friday, these children are sitting up in a school looking at a pale-skinned white woman, looking at her, tell them who the fuck they, and right now they're teaching them about who's the Indian and shit. She called me. I said, I got it here. I want you to
9 times out of 10, it's a pale, middle-aged, pale-faced woman, because the demographic of the students is largely young females. And the reason that is because they're not going to raise them or educate them properly, because that's potentially creating
threats.
Competition between them and us.
Threat in the future. Like a middle-aged woman really cannot compete with an intelligent young black woman or a melanated woman or Aboriginal woman. See, this is the thing. This is the tactics. They set it up to be failed. And if they can indoctrinate the woman and control and put fear in the woman or set doubt in the woman, this is trends passed down through lineage. You see, for the lack of argument. You see what I'm saying? So now your young man grew up with this sense of fear, which is already something taken away naturally from the young man of Aboriginal stock. You see what I'm saying? We got to understand that this is all part of the system of control warfare, and that's why the Boule and other groups, black groups and other melodic groups, started to set up the educational systems down south, down in the south.
I want people to know that if you teach a child at that age that these people came here and they killed off majority of the people, and then they went and got y'all and was so-called when they got your people and brought them over here and was feeding them, cooking the feed off, teaching them all kinds of, y'all not know that damages the child? Because so they started them off young to show them that this stuff happened here, and then they starting to see it as their eyes really open, they still see the prejudice out here, because it ain't racist prejudice that's going on outside the school, not knowing that the teacher, she just is prejudiced because she's rooting for her own to win. It's time for us to start rooting for ours to win and quit goddamn it taking on this narrative that you a fucking slave. For some reason, you're a proud slave. It's like you can't break those chains off your brain because they have literally taught you that you are descendants of slaves that didn't matter to nothing but yes sir, no sir, how far you want me to go, sir? That type of mentality. So of course our children see this shit, and then you sending them to school from a pale skinned bitch sitting up in front of the school gladly teaching bullshit because she don't even know because she was
what?
Bitch.
Oh, okay.
What's funny?
Then she teaching shit as well. So she's only teaching what was taught to her.
Yeah, let me say this too before I forget. One of the teachers I used to study says it's easy to be natural. You got to work hard at being unnatural. So they taught us for centuries on how to be unnatural for years. You know what I'm saying? Just probing the natural way so that all this fake stuff seems like reality. When in reality, we still doing the same natural things we were. Our hair, our teeth, sports, our celebrations, our rituals, how we laugh. Like Indians sit around smoking and laughing like.
Hey, it will blow your mind if I went through our culture from each area, from the encyclopedia, from things that our peoples did.
Cultural practices.
4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, all the way up to 15,000 years ago that we still naturally do.
Yeah.
So when people say that the culture of America and urban culture is American culture literally is Aboriginal culture. And we can show you the comparisons and all of
y'all need to bring that book back up, AP, because it says a lot of new people that's coming over, and they don't know that this is their hair. They don't know that this is part of who they are and why they still do it. Because in DNA, you're naturally doing what your ancestors, because they didn't do them down. Each woman that is born from the womb of her mother, she carries the AIDS. So she already have the DNA in her. Naturally, she came through the womb of her mother. So she already have the eggs that she's going to bring forth in the future.
Yep.
A lot of people need to see this. What you think, bro?
So you would say nationality ultimately stems from the mother?
From the grandmother.
Well, yes. True.
Listen, when your grandmother's pregnant with your mother, the mother's eggs are already there, so you're technically inside your grandmother already. That's why she's your grandmother.
It comes from both, man. You can get your nationality from both, man.
See what I'm saying?
American, proper color races found here prior to European. Now, like I was saying, is to have ties to the land, to have ownership of particular land can only come through the matriarchal lineage.
But that's nativity there. That's nationality there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking away from the father, but at the same time, even if you do trace yourself only using the father, which for me, that's why I think a lot of people find themselves running in circles and not finding the answers. But because we're failing to realize that our father, their father has a mother too. You see what I'm saying? And what I mean, and what I'm saying is that following and tracing, you know what I mean, your heritage through the mother, I think that's key. Because if you take a white girl, a white woman, and a so-called white woman and a so-called black man, and they get together and make a child, what would be the nationality of the child? What would be the status and condition of the child then?
Nationality of the mother.
All right then. So regardless if that child comes out melanated or not, you know, even though the father is melanated, the woman wasn't. So the nativity, then the nationality would then stem from the mother to the child. So the child would still be a white boy, just melanated.
Exactly. But this all should be common sense, bro. Where do you get all your blood from? That's inside your. Everything's been so theoretical, but literally, where is all the blood come from that was put in your body, bro? Your father didn't.
Nurturing the baby the whole time.
Yeah, look,
it's in the mother's
the
stomach.
blood that's in your body, your father did not put the blood in there. He put semen into the woman, which is fertilizer. Semen is the fertilizer. Come on now. So the mother, you have the blood from your mother. How can you not have the same blood type? She put the blood in your body, the actual blood. They cut the cord from her body, so you have her blood. Literally, you are your mother. That's why it should be common sense that you treat yourself.
I hear all the time.
Blood. It's literal blood.
I hear this all the time about, especially when we're talking about genealogy and stuff like that. It's like, this is what I hear. I hear, especially the brothers, a lot of them talking about, I'm my daddy's son and I followed his, family line, this, that, and the other, but you ignoring your mama. Who made you, where you came from. Where you get your blood, your flesh, and your bones from.
Come here. You can only come here to this place through the stargate of your mother. She carries the stargate. I mentioned this yesterday, and like I said, a lot of people, when you're connected to the ancestors, you get downloads, right? And the ancestors will give you what you need. We've been on these platforms forever, and we have talked about what you call those pan-boo-boos, I call them pan-Africans. They always talk about where the nigga comes from the down by the equator. That's all they talk about. That's why you're dark skinned, because you come from the equator. And as I kept asking, was I on your panel? And I was on TV's panel. And why I kept asking, y'all keep talking about, I said, what is the equator? And this is your main talking point. Y'all keep talking about we down by the equator. And I swear to God, y'all right then, the ancestor gave me a download. And it said, what it showed me was a melanated woman's body. It's pregnant. And that dark land around her stomach.
Yeah.
And it's called the Niagara. Niagara? Are you trying to say nigger? And it's spelled just like you would say nigger. Look it up. I bullshit y'all not. Who's in the chat? Y'all can look this up and see it for yourself. That line that goes around the woman's stomach is of dark complexion. It darkens up as she becomes pregnant. Some, even after they have the baby, it stays dark. And when they tell you that, then y'all noticing that it disappears. A lot of us, it disappears and go back to your natural skin complexion. But a lot of us, it doesn't.